Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's Brian and Jim here with Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to another episode of the Power Hour.
Yes, hello everybody. Welcome to episode 134. I'm starting off good. Rushing around tonight, out of my element. But yes, thank you all. Thank you everyone for joining us, and a big thank you to our good buddy Nerdy Nick for joining us last week. Always a great time talking to him.
Except for the nut slapping. Loved having you on, and I want more promos of Jim nut slapping. That's all I can say.
No, is that the part everyone likes the most?
Jim, you know what you are.
Leave my hangers out of this.
Damn it! Why you call them hangers?
No, gotta call them something.
You don't want to call them high and tights?
They are not high and tight. That went away when I was like 34, and it does worse in the summer.
Jim, are they like droopy dog?
A little bit. They're getting there. Lower and lower. I think by the time I'm like 54, they'll probably be at my knees on a good day. So.
Damn it, Jim.
What?
What you got drinking tonight, boy? And you better be pumpkin.
You will be disappointed. But I am drinking the GW's Little White Lie. It is a God damn, I can't do anything tonight. A tart cherry Belgian style ale. Comes in at 5.8% alcohol by volume. Brewed with cherry concentrate. So, there you go. Brewed by the Monkey Fist Brewing Company out of Traverse City, Missouri. I had to think for a second what MI was. So, yep. Looks like good old George Washington on there.
Interesting. A tart cherry Belgian?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, I am still going through my whole friggin' catalog, I'll call it, of pumpkin beers, and I'm amazed how many of these I've never had, and this is one of them. It's the Blue Point Brewing Company's Mother Pumpkin Ale. Jim, I'm really dumb when it comes to painting stuff. What style would you say that is? I know I feel like this looks like a painting style.
I don't know if that's even painting or if that's like just like the normal Cal Arts like bullshit animation style we deal with today.
I can't.
That like every cartoon looks like.
There's a style I feel like I want to say Art Deco, but I know it's completely wrong.
It's not impressionist.
Damn it. I don't know what it is, but it reminds me of that. Have you ever had anything from Blue Point?
I don't think so.
So they're from New Hampshire, Merrimack to be exact. I've never even heard of them, to be honest, but 5.5%. And I gotta be honest, already a couple sips in, this is pretty goddamn delicious. Like, I was not expecting anything from that can. Jim, this is why you never judge a can based on its tits.
All right, math checks out.
I mean, yeah, it's really, really good. So like I said, that's part of why I liked grabbing every pumpkin beer I could find, because a lot of these I've never heard of. So
cool. Yeah, so far this is really tasty. Like, you get the cherry, like it'll sit on your tongue like a couple seconds after you first put it in your mouth, and then it all just like kind of dissipates into like a typical ale taste. But it's really not that tart at all. But
Jim, can I cut that segment of you saying what you just said and then use it wherever we want?
Yeah, yes, Brian. Just talk about things sliding down my throat. There we go. It's not the worst thing I've ever said about myself on this show.
Jim, what are you talking about? We're all about positivity.
Yeah. No, we're positive, all right.
We're body posy.
That's what we are.
What have you been able to play this past week?
Well, I mentioned it during the podcast last week about my kid just getting sick. Turns out she stayed sick all goddamn week. So, did not get a ton of time. But you know what? Actually, weirdly enough, when she would be down here with me as I'd be trying to work, she'd playing around with the Xbox, and she was like, I want to see the Cup game. So she saw Cuphead. So I would sit there and play it for her for a little bit. So that's the first time I delved into that in friggin' ages.
She's like, Daddy, why are you so bad?
Ooh. Even her after a little while, I was like, oh no, Daddy, you lost again. I was like, I know. I actually had to like start over a new file because like I completely forgot how to play. And Yeah, I was just like making my way back. I mean, I basically made my way back to where I fucking stopped before. The goddamn dragon at the end of Island 2. So
Oh yeah.
that thing always had my number. I can never get past it.
Is that the one where it's like the vines are coming at you from top and bottom?
The vines will come at you from like his tail will shoot up from the bottom, and then he becomes like the 3-headed dragon at the end.
Okay.
Shoot fire at you, and then like a big fire blast. So
I mean, that game is the perfection of needing to master the control, the double jump especially. It is. Whew, I still say absolute excellent game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Whew.
Yeah, that's the first time I touched that in years. So it was fun to go back to. Of course, like I had to keep exiting out to the main menu like every 2 fights because she'd be like, "I want you to be the blue one now. I want you to be the red one now." Like, fuck. All right, it doesn't make a difference.
Did they ever say, is that going to get a sequel?
I don't know. I remember there being like talk of it. I think, but
Cuphead 2. It looks like the DLC was canceled. Doesn't look like much. Nah, I'm not seeing much. That was, like I said, I can't think of any other game that even comes close to looking like that.
No.
Like, I love that style, and the gameplay is amazing. That's a
hopefully
underrated game.
I don't know if it's underrated. Hopefully just that Studio MDHR comes out with new stuff eventually.
Well, I feel like that was another perfect example of a game that amount of people bitch that it was just too hard. And it is hard, but if I could beat it, it can't be impossibly hard.
Let's see here. Cuphead, the what? What's this? The Delicious Last Course? Maybe... Oh, DLC add-on. Oh, they just announced it for 20... I guess it was announced for 2021 or planned to be coming out this year.
It was delayed to 2021. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, haven't heard anything about it since, so... Well, that's the thing.
Nice. I've been chugging away, playing a bunch of games I can't really announce for the next top 6 video. Needless to say, I've been just bathing in retro horror games, I'll say it. And
me too.
And I actually put a decent amount of hours in Alien Fire Team Elite. I always forget the actual name of it. I know it's Alien Fire Squad or Fire Team Elite. It's something like that. I saw an article, though. It's like after 7 weeks, that game is down to like 800 players worldwide. I'm like, that is not good. So, yeah.
That's not a good sign.
I mean, since you're the online guy more, have you seen anyone? Have you been like a barometer of like what
I haven't seen
have been?
Shit about it. I haven't.
That's
maybe
almost
when it
like
first
worse
came out,
than not seeing a bunch of negative about a game. Like, I feel like I haven't seen anyone talk about it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I think I vaguely saw it when like it first came out, and then like it was just crickets ever since.
Yeah, I'll just say it is fun. It's very repetitive, and it's one of these annoying games. And Back 4 Blood does it too, where a single campaign mission can take upwards of 30 minutes to 40 minutes, and if you die, you have to restart the whole goddamn thing. So, you know, that can be terribly frustrating. So, like,
is that almost like another roguelike, or
no? So, you know, like Back 4 Blood, like as you're going through, there's like save or checkpoints. Like if you die, you die. So, like just like that, you're going through, and if you get like close to the end and one of the wave kills you, you just got to restart it all over again. So you go, ugh. I don't know why that's such an adopted thing in these multiplayer shooter games, but just make the levels a little bit shorter. That's all I ask. Just
they gotta artificially make it longer.
Yeah.
Where the people bitch it's not worth the money.
Well, people bitch about everything, Jim, but people still go forward and buy stupid shit, as we'll get into later with decisions from companies that are ridiculous.
Foreshadowing.
But yeah, other than that, dip my toe a little bit in Dead by Daylight here and there. Nothing else really. As much as I love my retro horror games, there's so many to play.
Mm-hmm. You're getting burnt out, aren't you?
Not burnt out. It's just like as I've been doing my research for them, some games I'm discovering, other ones I'm like, oh, I love this game, and then I play it. I'm like, I don't love it as much as I used to. Like I'm getting the inverse. But yeah, that last list I made, the Famicom horror games, was interesting because I get why some of the games weren't released to the U.S. I don't understand why some of them weren't. And did you have an experience with those games other than Splatterhouse, obviously?
Nah, not really.
No, you never fucked around with Sweet Home, did you?
Nah, I never tried Sweet Home. Like I was just too lazy to download a translation patch or any of that shit. So
yeah,
guess what? Fumidan looks like something I could just pick up and play. That looked pretty cool.
That is, like I said, everyone says Castlevania 2, but you even see from the sword motion, it literally is like Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and like Ninja Gaiden. It also kind of reminded me of Ninja Spirit on the TurboGrafx too, with like the way the animation looked of your ninja guy. Yeah, I never played that, but like it is a fun, as someone pointed out in the comments, maybe because the translation would have been too hard. I don't know, but it's definitely not too gory. So I just don't know why that never translated to NES. Yeah, and I have the Castlevania collection, but I still never dipped my toes into Kid Dracula, so that's one I could easily fuck with. That's a cute, like I said, super cute. Oh, speaking of goddamn Castlevania, and I saw your thing. Are people getting notifications from Limited Run about the thing being shipped? That shipping starting, yeah. Oh, because I still haven't gotten my... Because when I saw yours, I was like, shit, are we supposed to be getting it? And I haven't seen anything. Did you bundle yours with another game? No. Just that. Well, then yours should be coming anytime then. I got the biggest one. I don't know if that makes a difference. Oh, if you got like the Super Collector's Edition, those always take longer. Oh, God damn. I didn't realize. Did you splurge for the Shadowbox one, you motherfucker? Did you put down to 150? Oh, yeah. Jim, you know me. If I'm going to splurge, I'm going to splurge hard. Just like with Call of Duty, like if I'm going to go out and get a collector's, it'll end up being one of those things. If I don't get it now in the future, I'm like, damn, I kind of wish I had that. Like the damn Juggernaut fridge. Right, spend the money, get your fridge. Kid Dracula is goddamn adorable. I'll say Moving on. So yeah, no, it's been interesting. So Chambers, what do we have from our awesome patrons this week? Yes, and speaking of our awesome patrons, we actually did a boo-boo yesterday in the midst of everything. So we had a new patron with Dan Brown signing up, and also a returning patron. Good old KevCalled is back at the $2 tier, so thank you guys. Jim, shouldn't we have made a little bit of a bigger deal that we have the author of the Da Vinci Code now following us? See what I did there? It took me a second. You had to think about that. Oh my God, what's up? That would be pretty funny. That would be some shit. Brian, we're big deals now. Brian, he never followed up. Cheers to you guys. Thanks a lot, guys. Really appreciate it. But yes, patreon.com/DrinkABeerandPlayAGame, where for as little as $2 measly a month, we will answer a question that you will put on there every... Wow, holy crap. I think I say this 130 times and I'd have it down by heart by now. Yeah, I thought it was $2 a month. You can ask a question we will answer in each and every single one of these Power Hour podcasts. Out of my element tonight. First up from Game Whisperer Dean. What is the best Barbie game? The answer is NES, but no cheating. God fucking damn it. Damn it. Here's my question. Are there other... I mean, I have to imagine there are other Barbie games. Oh, I think there's Barbie games on like every console ever released. Have you ever played any of them? No. Do we need to do a Barbie month? I guess. Listen, if you patrons, especially you new ones. All right, how about this? In December, by the end of December, we'll catch up on all of our patron game requests. And then in the new year, we can maybe bring it in right with some Barbie extravaganza. Honestly, the only Barbie game I definitely know I've even seen on screen is the whatever one AVGN did, which I think is the NES, right? That's the NES one. I have that one, actually. But damn it, Jim. Why? I got it. It was bundled when I bought my NES, when I bought it off my friend's sister. So that's one of the ones she had. That's the story and you're sticking to it? That is the story. Fuck. But no, what do you call it? I mean, or I would have bought it in a bundle, or I bought it and cheap beat off to it. I don't know. Fucking things happen. But yeah, no, I do have that one. I think like the problem for us is going to be like a fuckload of them are on like the DS and 3DS, and like we have no way of capturing that. Emulators. So we'd have to. What's that? Emulators. Oh yeah, there's emulators. But I mean, maybe there's probably like a dozen fucking ones for the Game Boy. Maybe we'll do like a Game Boy Barbie month or something. Make it specific. Oh, Jim. That's damn you Damn you, Dean.
Always puts us on our toes. Next up from JD Mains. Hopefully not too late, not at all. But what are your opinions on Star Citizen never-ending development? Scam, sham, or hopefully the real deal? Cheers, fellas. That thing's a fucking disaster.
Honestly, at this point, I have no hope for any type of open world, procedurally generated, giant space exploration. Like, I don't have hope for that for any game because it seems like every game fails. Now, you have a good example with, like, No Man's Sky, which, like, 5-6 years later has put in so much and has made the game so much better. But, like, I just think it's too much of a reach goal that these developers are putting out there, and unless you have the backers behind it, it seems like it's just like something you're never really going to be able to achieve. It'll be cool one day when a game can come out and meet all the things, but like, start small. Just say, like, I want to create a game that does this. We can go to the moon.
At least come out. Fuck, I mean, for as bad of a launch and for as bad of a taste as, like, No Man's Sky was for all of its backers and shit like that, at least that came out and got, like, you know, continually developed and supported. I know that's, like, the outlier for these fucking things. Like, this is the complete opposite, where it's been in development since 2011, was supposed to come out in 2014, and, yeah, it's almost 2022. Ew.
I didn't realize it's raised $300 million as of June 2020. $300 million? Like, yeah, you need to be able to release something.
Yeah, I mean, it's Kickstarter raised $2 million, and then through all different kinds of stuff and in-game purchases. Wow. Fuck it. If he has these kind of pay pigs, I'll never finish the game either. Fuck it.
It's just
oh no, people don't respect me.
I love ambition, and I love that it wants to do so many things. But like I said, instead of trying to be like a space simulator, FPS, and MMO, like, just be one first, and then do something like, you know, I don't know.
I think it was definitely good intentions that turned into scam.
Sure.
Also, like, you know, like the Amico's looking, or like fucking the Paprium guy trying to crowdfund like ports of it to other consoles. Like, you motherfucker. But yeah, these are some famous ass Kickstarter failures right here. But yes, I will go with both scam and sham.
I would love to see like a comparison of all the sham, because it's much more exciting to go over all the failures. But like, I'd love to see a good example of a Kickstarter turned right that met the expectations of people. You know,
like Xenocrisis.
Yeah, okay, that's a good one. Yeah, but I feel like that's one I didn't even hear boo about. Like, once it was out, I heard stuff. Before then, I didn't hear a peep about it.
Yeah, I mean, like, it had its backers and shit. It was a smaller. It didn't have the hype for sure, but
yeah,
once it came out, everyone was like, "Holy shit, this is great!" So, and now it's been ported to like every single console ever. Like, even though I hear the Neo Geo port that just came out has some issues, but just a little disappointing. But regardless,
damn it, Joe.
What?
Anyone that's complaining about a Neo Geo port of anything in 2021, stop.
Hey, if you've spent $250 for a cartridge, it better fucking work.
Well, therein lies the problem, Jim. Don't spend that kind of money for a new game for an old system.
What? How dare you? New quality product.
No.
That Bureau does no wrong. But next up, from Gamer Astral. Favorite terrible console? LOL, if that makes any sense.
Oh, that's easy. N64. That's aged the worst, Jim. You can't even debate that. I'm not saying it's terrible I'm saying of all the consoles, I don't have as many as you, and I'm not going to name consoles I don't have.
Right.
So, it's got to be N64 to me is the worst console I have that's aged the worst.
Fair answer.
Yeah. I'm not even doing a dig.
I'm watching you. But what do you call it? I mean, obviously, if we're going, you know, the consoles we have, then I got to say CDI. For as goofy and stupid as it is, and as much as I do like it, it is the worst console I have. Unless I count like
how much that cost you at Goodwill?
$6.97. I am looking at the sticker right now.
Yep. And how much were the games?
Oh, the games have been dirt cheap for the most part, except for Hotel Mario. That was a pricey boy. But besides that, everything else is like, I think maybe the most I spent on a game for it after that is like maybe $40. But after that, it's been like, between $5 to $10. But you know what the most expensive thing for it is, Brian? The fucking digital video cartridge I had to get for it so I could play the FMV games.
Oh, Jesus. Do I even want to know?
No.
Jim, well, you know what? I think that would be a great console at this point. I'm looking it up. There's only 197 titles, Jim. You could do it.
What, to complete the set?
Yeah.
Well, what am I at right now? I think I'm at probably like 20-some. So maybe I can. Maybe I can, scum. Maybe I can.
You're there.
Fuck. I support that. No, now I got to spend $4,000 in goddamn Zelda games.
Jim, just sell nudes of yourself as NFTs and you can do it.
Right, I'm not a fucking cuddly lion. That was drawn in paint.
Not yet, you aren't.
Not yet, true. Someone out there has got to be an artiste.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love someone to have a game, like an arcade with crazy, unique, like goofy ass systems that we don't get to play as much.
Oh yeah, like you want to see someone with like the shit like the Apple Pippin or crap like that.
Yeah, that's like, I know it would be obviously very niche to do something like that, but that would be awesome.
Commodore CD or something like all these like weird random ones.
Yeah, and you know what? I would love to see that like original hardware, however many games, and maybe even you could BYOG, bring your own game, and then they're playing on the respective TVs are supposed to, so all the CRT nerds can nerd out when it's CRT stuff, and everyone else can enjoy better looking stuff on plasmas.
Right, don't you talk about the Smash community like that. So Astro follows up with, what's up?
They'd like their gaming out of Chuck E. Cheese.
I'll leave you be the Smash Basher this week. But yeah, he said mine is the Virtual Boy, for example. If you got, I think he does have a Virtual Boy, son of a bitch. I would love to have one.
If I had that, I would love it just for how ridiculous it would be to set up and try to play, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Next
Jim,
up,
can I just say one thing?
Go on.
As I'm going through Alien games, and I'm looking through a list, there's a lot of Alien random arcade games that are like the ones with like the gun cabinets on it, and I was like clicking through the one, and there's one you can actually buy and have delivered to your house, and it's a whole setup. It's pretty expensive. I was like, damn it, that would be kind of cool. Just to like, if you could buy one arcade kind of like that and have it at your house, well, do you have one off the top of your head you would want it to be?
Mine would probably be T2 Arcade.
That's a good one. I get torn between that or like a really like goofy like racer. Like one of the, something really over the top.
Yeah, like Chase HQ or what's the what's the one that's like kind of like Chase HQ but it's like got like the it's not Turner and Hooch obviously, but it's like the two guys and like you see like their crazy expressions the whole time you're trying to chase down the bad guys. Can't remember the fucking name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I couldn't even.
Lucky and Wild.
Nice. Yeah. I would probably like going with shooter games. I said there is something so like the time crisis games are always the perfect. I know we talked about many times, but the moving mechanical piece of the gun always felt so good. Or even like the sniper game, even though like you're just looking through an actual scope. And of course, I love the like you have to go into something and sit down in a little enclosure, not just be out in the open. Those were always just there's something about that experience that I love.
Oh yeah, that's tough to replicate. Just good old arcade classicness. Mm-hmm. Even though some of them are coming out with through like Arcade 1-Up and now for like $800 a piece, go fuck yourself.
Yeah. No. I'm good.
Yeah.
Now, good question, though, bud. Thank you.
Yep. Next up from Burn Retinas. Will there ever be a period where Billy Mitchell isn't trying to sue anyone? He proved he could get the highest scores cheating and not cheating. Achievement unlocked. Probably not because he sues everyone who shit talks him. So, fuck. What was that YouTuber who did the documentary on him and then Billy Mitchell sued him? Oh, I can't remember his name. He's like the guy who does all the speedrunning documentaries. Fuck. I gotta look that up now. It's gonna drive me crazy.
I'm looking through an article right now. So obviously he's filed
Carl Jobst. That's the one.
So here's the deal. Do you think, obviously, when you first see him in The King of Kong, he's such a character, and he's got his hot sauce. Like, his brand is like goofy. I don't even know if goofiness is the right word. Is it just a publicity stunt, or do you think he's actually trying to earn something out of it? Like, is this just at the point where he's trying to stay in the spotlight by doing these things, like as publicity, or do you think he's doing it like going after them with belief he's actually right?
No, I think he's 100% like doing it. Like, I think he's just an egomaniac. Like you don't walk around dressed like that and looking like that and having that kind of smile without thinking that, like, yeah, I'm the shit.
He's it's a personality trait, man. Like, anyone who, oh God, I hate to say the word, competes in something, you probably got to have an ego behind you to a certain degree, and a personality. Like, he is what most wrestling heels need to be. Someone who truly believes in themselves that much and lives the persona, if you will.
Oh yeah, he's a perfect heel. So he's that to a T. But yeah, no, I 100% believe that as long as he can, he will sue people and he will continue to get his name out there with different shit.
Do you think his hot sauce or whatever the hell he's making money off of is that much that he can stand to be in litigation that long? Or has he won enough that he's making bank? Like,
here's the thing. I don't think he's really won any litigations. He keeps representing himself and fucking up.
Oh, so that's how he's saving money, because he's not high. See, I thought maybe he had like a lawyer on retainer or something.
I'm like, maybe for some of them, but I know like his most recent one, I think it was one of the ones against Twin Galaxies. He tried representing himself, and like he missed deadlines for shit and other things, and the judge was just like, like, we're done here.
Who was that nerd in that documentary that was like his friend? Wasn't he a lawyer in the documentary? The one's like, iron sharpens iron, and he was this like lackey almost.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember.
I thought maybe he had him like representing him or something. I don't know.
Would have been smart if he has any kind of legal background, but
yeah, interesting. Now, Billy Mitchell, he'll do whatever he can to stay in spotlight. And to Jim's point, he's a personality. That's all I can say.
That is for sure. And last up from Phony Montana. Besides nostalgia, why is Streets of Rage 2 better than 4?
I mean, it's easy. Music.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the music, but I don't know. At the core gameplay, I almost have to say that like 2's a little tough to go back to because it's so much slower than 4. Like 4 moves so much faster because like it's. I mean, obviously you're 20 some years later, so of course it's going to be a smoother experience. But yeah, I mean, like the music, it is like that's the biggest thing it has over it is the music by far.
And it's a wide gap.
Oh yeah,
But,
it's not even close. Like I've come to like the soundtrack for 4. But it still like doesn't even complete with anything beforehand for me. So
yeah, and you've played Streets of Rage 4 significantly more than me. Off the top of your head, could you even hum a single song from that game?
Just the one from the police station, the second level. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't know. The soundtrack, I don't mind the graphics in 4.
Oh, I think it looks great.
It looks good, but like I could see where an argument could be made that you just prefer 2's style over it.
Oh yeah, like the classic pixel art style. I can see that.
But like I said, yeah, outside that, you can't say the characters because, especially now with the DLC, you have them all from 4. Well, they don't have Skate, but who cared about Skate?
Right, the skaters are gonna come for you.
You can't say the control. You can't even really say enemies. Like, so yeah, it would just come down to preference. But now, on the whole, if someone was like, hey, Street Rage 4 is a better game than 2, I could say, yeah, I understand it. It'd be like trying to argue that, like, what's it called? Mario Kart 64 is better than the newest one. You can't make that argument whatsoever. But, yeah, no, nostalgia will be the number one reason. That and the soundtrack.
Yep, for sure. So, that wraps up the Patreon questions for this week. So once again, thank you to all the new patrons, returning patrons, and everyone for throwing in your questions this week. Always appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. All right, Chambers, so before we move on, how did that goofy beer you had treat you?
What, my George Washington? You know, it's fucking good, man. I'm on my second one right now. Yeah, like I'm really enjoying this.
Nice. So what'd you get, 6-pack or 4-pack?
4.
4. Isn't it funny we've become accustomed to 4-packs now?
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that the craft boys realized they could get over on us.
Yeah.
Charge a little more, give a little less. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
But you could argue it is better quality, Jim, so it makes sense.
Yeah, debatable.
Yeah, this Mother Pumpkin Ale, really, really delicious pumpkin beer. It's like not scream in your face like spices and shit, but it's really well balanced, kind of thin, but really good. And I am moving on to old standard for pumpkin beers, the Sam Adams Jacko Pumpkin.
Classic.
Yeah, so ain't much to say about this. This one is, why do they always make it difficult? 4.4. Wow, that's it. 4.4%. I feel like that's really low.
I wonder if I still have that written review buried in my Google Drive somewhere. I still have a bunch of those old reviews from like 2014.
Oh man, the number of old reviews I've redug up, and I'm like, remember when one of the criteria we thought would be a good idea is price.
Nah.
Because we're like, it shouldn't matter if you can get drunk off a case of beer for $14.
I mean, I still think it's a valid argument.
But of course you would. But
right. On that note, the fingers are still numb. That's a good sign.
Damn it, Jim. Of course. So you're still having some nerve issue, huh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Is it worse when you wake up the next morning?
No.
Does it get worse as you like lean a certain way or overuse your hand?
No. It's kind of just been like status quo. Like it feels like it's gotten a little teensy bit better over the past week, but yeah, like this one's still mostly numb. This one's just numb at the tip now.
Now, do you have any issues actually closing your hand?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just fucked up some nerves, but everything else seems functional. Color's still good. Movement's good.
Only you, Jim. Only you. And Jim,
my charms.
Not to send out anything that could get any hopes up, but if some of the stuff comes into fruition with what I want to do and talk to certain people, set up certain things.
Can't wait.
Oh, Jim, speaking of things that make me laugh. This article you shared, and it's everywhere by this point, so
we have to give our opinion on it, obviously.
We have to, because we talked enough about it. You were dead wrong. I can't believe how much this is, but the Nintendo Switch Online expansion was revealed for the N64 and Sega at $30 a month. Or $30 increase on top of the...
Yeah, not a month, just over a year.
Yeah. So
yeah, you get the N64 online, you get the Sega Genesis online, and you get Animal Crossing New Horizon DLC. Yay.
So it's up to $50 a year. I keep saying month. A year. I don't know why they're so... want to just throw that out there, but it's like, okay, maybe there's a lot of micro purchases in the game. And
apparently the DLC on its own is worth like 20 or something like that, and maybe that's how they're trying to like shoehorn saying,
that's what I'm guessing. It's like, here's the free, you get it bundled in, but then people will pay.
Yeah, and that's for a single plan. If it's a family plan, then it's like $85 a year.
So here's the thing, Jim. I know you've already given some opinions, but first, before we give the opinions, let's talk about the games offered. So on N64, you got Mario Kart 64, Legend of Zelda Ocarina, Star Fox 64, Mario Tennis, Super Mario 64, Dr. Mario 64, Yoshi's Story, Winback Covert Ops, I don't know what the fuck that is, and Sin and Punishment, which is, as we would expect, a random obscure... Isn't Japan only?
Yeah, that's like the biggest Japan-only game that people have always wanted to come over and be like localized.
So it pretty much hit all the major. I'm kind of shocked I didn't throw Smash in there too, because they seem to be going down the line of all the like kind of major first party.
That's got to be a down the line like, hey, it's coming kind of deal. But yeah, Winback's actually like one of the first like cover shooters actually.
So okay, so 64, whether it's good or bad, you're going okay, whatever. So in Sega, which I think is much better, because they hit like almost all the best, is Sonic 2, Streets of Rage 2, Echo the Dolphin, Castlevania Bloodlines, Golden Axe, Strider, Contra Hardcore, the Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and Gunstar Heroes. So,
I think Musha was a part of it too, wasn't it?
oh yes, I'm sorry. I'm only looking at the pictures. I don't
yeah.
know why they want you. Mushu, Phantasy Star 4, Rise Star, Shining Force, Shinobi 3. So they really kind of...
Sega's lineup is really good.
So, yeah, that is like, they literally hit almost every... If you did a best of list...
I mean, you could leave Echo off there, but yeah.
Yeah, Echo, I still don't get the love for that. But it's like they're like, all right, everything but the sports games. And there you go. So... Very, very interesting.
I mean, if you add, like, hopefully they do what they did with a lot of the NES and Super NES games and add, like, online co-op functionality and shit like that. Like, that would be very, like, I think they really need to for it. But,
to justify the price, you mean?
Yeah, that really help justify the price. Like, they don't do online with it. Like, people are mainly going to be doing, like, either co-op with the Sega games or fucking, like, you know, 4-player online. Like, 4-player online Mario Kart 64 sounds fun to even me. Like, if there's anything that would even remotely tempt me, that would be that. But as it is, even I'm like, yeah, I'll pass.
I mean, the price point's still ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. It's not that the price itself is ridiculous. It's the price. And here's what a lot of people don't get because, like, yes, I get it. If you're doing a $50 plan, then it's only $4 a year, which is still, you know, like, it's not a lot. It's
$4 a month.
$4 a month, I meant. Yeah. $4 a month is like nothing. Sure. So it's a slice of pizza. But, like, you know, it's the fact that...
It's a big piece of pizza. You got a $2 slice, Jim.
Right, you got to go get pizza where I get pizza, son. Get that good shit.
You don't get good shit. You drink Keystone. You don't know about good shit in life.
I save my fancy calories for my goddamn food.
You don't get shit on dick.
Oh, I get... Careful. Easy.
But go on, Jim.
But, hey, how you doing? But, yeah, but no, the problem comes from, like, just how much of a price increase it is in relation to what you already paid for. Like, for $20 a month before, you're getting NES, Super NES, and then you're also getting the ability to play games online. You're getting cloud saves. Now, we talked before about how it was bullshit that they started charging a year and a half down the line for stuff they were already giving you for free. That argument aside, it's still the money that you're paying for access to all these things. And now it's just like, oh, we think these ROMs are worth $30. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just like a crazy, like, in relation to what you already got thing. That's why everyone's pissed off. That's why I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, I don't know what... how do I say this? I don't know if the value is there. The only value, like you pointed out, is if you can play this online, because to me, anyone that's excited for N64 shit, I would put money down. You probably still have your old N64 and all those games already there. Like, the games you'd want anyway. Let's put that. Like, nobody... It wasn't like some of the, like, the Super NES minis and NES minis where it's like, oh, games that are so expensive to play, like, try to collect for, like, now...
Well, I mean, Moosh is like an $800 game now. But and Sin and Punishment's like $200. So, I mean, like, there's good value in there. But, I mean, like... But, like, to your point, like, the only N64 game on that list I don't have is Winback. So...
And
it's like
is that like, oh my god, I need to play?
No.
Yeah.
So... And, like, I own Musha, so I don't even have that enticement for the Genesis thing. So...
my worry is... Hey, if people are excited for it, I think that's awesome. And like I said, I think the Sega value here is way higher than the N64, in my personal opinion. I guess it's... What more do you expect? Because what is the life left on the Switch? And will whatever this Nintendo Online carry over to whatever the next iteration is?
I mean, I think the Switch as we know it, it can't go on much longer. I mean, like, we're going on 5 years.
Do you think in our 2 years tops?
I think they could maybe milk another 2 years without, like, a major revamp. But I think whenever the major revamp comes, or the Switch 2, it's got to keep the same online. Like, you can't pull a fucking, like, what you did beforehand. Because, like, the Switch now is like Nintendo. Like it's not like, home console, portable. It's all in one now. So that's the way it's going to be going forward. So like they have to keep that architecture going. Not the architecture, but the online thing and all your benefits going from thing to thing now. Like you can't have the excuse of like the 3DS and Wii U virtual consoles being a different service entirely than the Wii's virtual console, and then you had to pay for all the games all over again. Like, you can't have that shit.
Do you think, and I don't follow it enough, with the NES and Super NES, I know it gets games. They've never removed games, right?
I don't think they've removed games, and it's been just a very, but as we know,
trickle.
It's been a very, like, a lot of people are like, oh, I mean, they have games planned for the future for these things. It's like, probably, but if it's going to be anything like what we've seen already for 3 years, it's going to be a very slow trickle, and then after, like, every once in a while, they're going to dangle a game you really want, and then it'll probably be a bunch of games that are super cheap to license, and we're going to get more shit by Jalico and crap like that. So,
yeah.
Like, I don't think we're going to be getting, like, banger after banger with each release. We're going to be getting maybe one game every couple months that people really want.
And when I think of that, I'm almost like, is it just worth it unless you desperately really want this stuff? Just wait till the library's better. That's if you're getting this for the purposes of those games, is what I'm saying. Obviously, if you're playing online, you need it anyway. But if you're someone who has a Switch or hasn't gotten one,
but then you don't have to upgrade either. You can keep your $20 plan too, just to play online.
That's true. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. So I don't know. I mean, you're the N64 and Sega guy, and a guy that Switch is your number one console you play now. I mean, do you think this entices you at all to get it?
Not really. I'm like, unless a bunch of buddies went, hey, let's all play Mario Kart 64 online. I'd be like, $2 more a month. What the fuck? Fuck it.
Yeah.
I could justify it because it's still stupid cheap in the long run. But it is still like, it is still ridiculous how much more they're charging in relation though. So it'll be a thing where I'd be like, I'm a dick for doing it, but whatever, fuck it. It's still stupid cheap.
Yeah.
But like, I'm not going out of my way to go and get it. Now, I think even more egregious is the fact that like the N64 and Sega Genesis controllers that they're selling for the Switch now,
oh dude,
$50 a piece. Whew!
Other than the collectors on YouTube who need to do the video of the release, I really hope regular people aren't getting those things.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have one of the Super NES ones, and I have like one of the dual sets of the NES ones, and you know what? I bought them 2 years later when they were 50% off. So, like, if you do want to get them, just fucking wait; they'll be on sale. Like, I know they already sold out, but of course, the people who are going to buy them right away are going to do it anyway. But unless you really need them, just wait. I haven't even opened mine, so.
Yeah, I mean, here's the deal. I am happy for people that if this makes you really happy and you're uber excited and you can do like what Jim said, play with some buddies on some games you miss playing, that's awesome. I just, be warned, you can probably not expect the next batch of 64 and even Genesis games to be bangers. Like, you're probably going to get some very low level and in no time soon. I'd say probably at a minimum 4 to 6 months.
Right. And I mean, the biggest argument against the Sega one is the fact that like a lot of those games have already been released on the Switch as part of that Genesis collection. Mm-hmm. Now that collection is not great because it kind of runs like crap, but it's still there and it's still really cheap if you just want to play the games and actually own them. So there's also that too.
Yeah, like you said, it's stupid cheap. I still think overall the value is really up to you if you think you're getting the value from it.
Yeah. Like a $50 a year, like $50 is a night at the bar. That's a cheap night at the bar. Like, like I still don't think like the price is that bad. It's still just like it's such a bad look in the grand scheme of things, though.
That's what I mean. It's Nintendo still being Nintendo, but at a price where you can't just say the price is ridiculous.
Right. And there were those tweets out there that were like, I can't wait to see all the people who are bitching about the price, showing off, how much fun they're having with it. It's like, that happens every time. You know what's going to happen.
Oh, the community are, if nothing else, hypocrites when it comes to bashing someone and then turning around and be like, I need to show my clout. So
yep.
No, it'll be interesting.
Diffuse.
But make sure you guys comment below. Let us know what you think, and if you're interested, are you going to buy it, and what is the selling point for you? So I'd love to hear.
Yeah, especially the selling point part.
Yeah.
Give us your justification.
All right, Chambers. Speaking of games being resurrected.
Proud of yourself, aren't you?
Such a wordsmith. All right. So the Diablo II Resurrected has it's had a few issues, hasn't it, Jim?
Yeah.
Sounds like old Call of Duty server days.
Issues to the point where people are asking for refunds and talking about it. So yeah, Diablo 2, as of a couple weeks ago, had its remaster come out. Diablo 2 Resurrected, as Brian so gleefully put it. And, damn it. So yeah, to the point where there's been so many login issues that Blizzard continuously has to put out updates. So one from October 13th is them going, as part of our continued investigation into the issues, our team will be actively monitoring and reacting to the situation during peak playtimes, and there may be periods where logins or game creation are limited. And from what I'm hearing, that is to say the least.
Everything I've read and seen about this is people that know more about this said what it's going to take to fix it is going to be a goddamn nightmare. Apparently, I guess people have been reading into what some of the issues are and probably why it's gotten more traction of we want a refund, because the long-term fix is probably potentially not really doable. They're just going to have to keep releasing patches
and apparently as of the 14th they did a lengthy statement to the forums that said that the causes is they tried to stay true to the original game, so they kept a lot of legacy code, and one service is struggling to keep up with modern behavior. So they're well, we're going to keep going on it. So it's funny because I've talked to some people both online and one of my good friends offline, he was talking about it. And he was hey, talk about Diablo. I'm all right. So so people online are every time I try to log in, it's either impossible to get into a game or I just get booted. So my one buddy Andrew, who's been playing it a lot, and he was a Diablo 2 fanatic when we were younger. Yeah. And he's oh yeah, so now instead of just letting everyone log in at once, now they're doing a queue for being to be able to log in and to play. And he was yeah, I'm only spot number 294 right now. I was holy fuck. He's yeah, I guess I'm waiting a while. So I guess their little meantime band-aid fix is to just put all the players in a queue to wait your turn to play. And he's also saying to I guess all the people in different time zones are trying to skip the peak hours for their time zones and go in the other countries' ones. So every time he tries to log in and play, people from Europe are flooding the American servers and shutting them down. And it's just everyone bouncing off everyone else's different servers, fucking everything up too. This is a disaster.
We talk about this all the time. Bugs are going to pop up. Things are going to happen. This seems like such a, not just oh crap, we didn't fix the map so now people can go under it. This is such a game breaking piece. How the fuck did this pass QC or any type of, I'm just guessing every game nowadays gets a beta and alpha test. How did it pass that shit?
Probably maybe they were too busy trying to finger blast the interns because it's Activision Blizzard.
Damn it, Jim! I mean, is this just there's too many people trying to play it issue, or is this just you?
All right, maybe this is me putting on my Alex Jones tinfoil hat. But when they put on a line saying that in trying to keep true to the game, we kept a lot of legacy code, what that reads to me is we had either a very short time frame or not a lot of money, or we were lazy and we just used a lot of old code and tried to get away with it.
So
to meet a deadline.
Jim, don't you dare.
Well, Brian, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, oh shit, it's broke. Uh-oh. Bully!
Well, let me ask you this. Can you play the game not joining in a queue? Could you just play the game locally? Or do you have to be on a server?
I don't know. I haven't played the new one myself.
Okay. I mean, the game looks good. I've never been... I have the first two Diablos. I've put an abysmally small amount of hours into the games.
Same.
So I don't have a nostalgia or a ton of experience with it. So this is not something that would even make me want to go to it. But the fact that this happens, and I know that community is... There's a huge community still loves their Diablo.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks for them. Like, I don't like seeing this shit. And as far as the refund, it's like, well, if you bought the game physically, you can get a refund. But I guess this is more PC people that are like, they want to I don't like. That's what I don't get. Like when people are saying I want a refund, can't you just take the game back to wherever you got it?
I think one of the reports was saying how like a person was trying to get a refund for it, and then the Blizzard was like, "Nah, you've put too much time in, so like we can't give you a refund for that."
They're trying to apply the like restaurant when scumbags try to like eat 3/4 of a meal and then say, "I don't like it. Can I get a?"
I'm just wondering what that threshold that they're using is, because like if you're talking about someone maybe playing for like 10 hours or something like that, like 10 hours is a drop in a bucket for like Diablo people. That's nothing. That's like that's fucking yeah. So
I guess if you're a company though, what is like? You could say you can't use the extremes. The people that put like 4,000 hours into a game. So you got to be like, all right, like you take you for example. Like you get Call of Duty,
right.
When you get with us, you maybe max out 15 hours in a game.
Maybe,
and
yeah.
So
especially at this point.
So it's like, what is I don't know what a good threshold would be. That Blizzard's like, no, you have played the game enough. But I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, I would actually like to see if they have like a go dead date for like amount of time played.
Yeah, or if it's yeah. That's weird. I don't know. Like I would like to follow this, see if they do come out with better fixes or something. I hope for the sake of people wanting to play it, it does get fixed. But like I said,
I would like to eventually play it because like I always felt like that's a game I should have put a little more time into.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
So it's like, you know what? That would be a good series we should review one month, Jim.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same way. I always go like, man, I really do want to dive into it a little more. Obviously, we'll never be to a level of like other people, but
no.
Yeah, I would like to get my hands dirty in there.
And there's only 3 of them, so yeah, single.
Damn it, Jim. What about the mobile game?
What is that, a joke? Did that even ever come out? I don't even know if that ever came out.
I don't know. I just threw it out there. I remember
the memes.
We talked about it. So, yeah. Let us know if anyone out
have
there
you been
huge
affected?
Diablo
Have
fan?
you bought it? Yeah.
Now Andrew, when he said he was like number 296, did he say like what's the average time from when he clicks like start or enter queue? Like, is he waiting like an hour or two? Like,
you know what? I'll text him right now. So
yeah,
let me see.
I'm curious. Yeah, look into that, but oh boy, a ring alert! Somebody attempted a burglary nearby. A burglary.
A burglary?
Yeah. Yeah. Let me know what he says.
Yep.
In the meantime, this is a very open-ended thing, but I saw a couple articles, and they'll all be linked below. We don't have to go through them all, but I just wanted to talk about it. I didn't realize this was a thing until, once again, I saw something through Dead by Daylight. And
I was about to say, because the only thing I saw through this was like some tweet that blew up today about people being pissed about this.
Dead by Daylight, and then when I looked into it, I've seen a couple more, but NFTs in video games. And in Dead by Daylight, there's this big controversy because basically they just recently released the Hellraiser chapter, and with this collaboration with some company, they're basically saying if you buy an NFT, you automatically get the DLC as well as some potential in-game exclusive content. And then I was like, well, that's kind of fun. Like, not that it's anything that like changes the gameplay, but it might be like a cosmetic or something. Then I read into it on other games, and that's apparently like something that's happening on a few games. And Steam came out and banned all video games selling cryptocurrencies and NFTs. And the best is Age of Rust, where
I was reading that right now. Apparently, you can sell real world, quote unquote, NFTs for in-game NFTs for missions and shit like that. Like,
so you're basically saying like in order to play specific missions or get specific cosmetics, you have to buy these NFTs. And I'm like, that's a slippery fucking slope. Like, and I titled this little segment, "Are NFTs and New Microtransactions?" I didn't realize there's a whole fucking market of games that are based completely on that. And the one is like, oh god, it's like Axie or something. but like I thought NFTs were kind of a joke thing. Like I knew there was like things being sold and they were crazy, but the most interesting is the 15 video game NFTs and how much they sold for. And to run down it fast, there's a LeBron James Kobe tribute dunk from NBA Top Shot that sold for $220,000.
Oh, Jesus titty fucking Christ.
And then there's something Navi Nation Season 1 Cup from Navi, which sold for an estimated $100K in cryptocurrency. Now, the caveat is almost all these values are based on cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's what you pay for NFTs in. Like, no one pays real money. It's always like based on Ethereum network trading.
Sure. And so like, but some of these like, Ronaldo's 2019 and 2020 from Sorare sold for more than $250,000. And like, you just go down the list and I'm like, I still don't. Here it is. Genesis land plots from Axie Infinity. In this game, you can only buy land plots with NFTs, and someone spent $1.5 million worth of
this shit is all a scam. It's all just money laundering for rich people. That's all his bullshit is.
Well,
these are all games that no one's ever heard of for the most part. Buying fucking land in-game shit. Like, it's all just fucking money laundering using shit that's apparently going to planet.
Well, let me ask you, though. So, most of those games I mentioned, except for some of the sports games, I agree with you, but here's my question is, I see this shit with, like, Behavior, who does Dead by Daylight, and if, like, that becomes a real thing, do you think that's going to start gaining prevalence? Is it, like, a push to try to get cryptocurrency and all that bullshit, like, really...
It's like... Yeah, I mean, they cut you off, sorry, but, like, it's like anything else where, like, once someone does it and it becomes a thing, then it becomes a thing for everyone.
Yep.
Wouldn't that be a bitch if that's the thing that, like, really starts to legitimize cryptocurrency, is fucking, like, millionaires laundering money on video games and it just, like, trickles down.
But isn't that, like, the genius way? Because tech and video games and cryptocurrency and your own virtual world, like, that is the avenue. And remember a while ago, I tied that whole thing, the concern of video games creating their own currencies that can't be regulated. Remember, like, we kind of laughed at it as like a joke, like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But if it went down this path, and almost to a degree, it is creating that, like, Ready Player One style world where, like, if the value in cryptocurrency is legit enough to somebody and you're making transactions through video games, then it translates to real world dollars. Should it be regular? Like, I don't know.
I mean, let's put it this way. Like, fiat currency, as they like to call it now, like, that's just based on make-believe. Like, we don't have the gold standard anymore. So, like, we just say, the dollar's worth this much. The euro's worth this much. Like, none of it's fucking real at this point. So, like, I can even see, like, if a game just started using straight-up crypto as a currency in it, I'm like, all right, it makes sense. Like, crypto's publicly traded and it does have a dollar value. It's just the value that people put on it. One day it could be worth $50,000, one day it could be worth nothing. So, you're like, that's the risk you take with this bullshit. But I mean, I could see it as a thing that you use as a currency. Now, dumping it into an NFT is like a fucking stupid collectible JPEG with, like, I get it's a JPEG with, like, one line of code that makes it, like, uniquely yours. Go fuck yourself. Like, that, it's not real. So, like, I still think NFTs are dumb as shit, but, like, I can see, like, using crypto. Like, fucking...
Jim, give me the dumb guy explanation, because I keep trying to get a simplified with the NFTs. Like, what you just said, so you own a JPEG, and it's uniquely yours. It's like a trading card, essentially, with a specific code. Yes. But is there any actionable, like, okay, I own the rights to this, but say somebody Google images and just happens to have mine to show up, and then they try to copy it, and I track them down and find it. Like, is it supposed to be actionable that I'm like, hey, that's mine?
I don't know about the actionable part of it, but I guess, what do you call it? Like, I'm sure there's some kind of checks and balance in place where, like, if you're a person who fucks with NFTs and buys NFTs, I'm sure you're, like, at least in this stage of the game, you're putting the effort out there to, like, really know what you're doing to make sure you get that, like, one all-important line of code that's tied to it. But, yeah, I mean, I can see that getting scammed left and right. It's probably the easiest thing in the world to scam to a dummy. It's probably happened already for all we know, so...
Oh, it has to have. Like, yeah. I don't know. This is one of those things where I go, Where's it going to go? Is
Like,
cryptocurrency and NFTs and all this bullshit going to end up being the thing that almost in my eyes, like, does that ruin game? Like, microtransaction I have a big enough problem with.
Yeah.
Games are hoarding them out, and unfortunately it's like, yeah, you can get the base game for your 50 or $60 and you can do this, but if you wanted to unlock the other features, get this shit. And is it going to, like, way too much monopolize, capitalize, and turn games into purely that?
I mean, I think there's a real chance it could happen, especially if it keeps going and takes off. I don't think it's going to be a real thing until, like, a real game dev, like, is ballsy enough to actually say, oh, hey, by the way, we're going to allow this to happen. So,
yeah,
like,
Fortnite comes out, everything you can buy is in crypto.
Christ. Holy fuck.
They're like, fuck you, Apple.
Yeah, fuck you, every parent ever. So,
Oh, God, yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, it's a scary thought because, like, I mean, like,
I don't like it.
I have a tiny bit of money in crypto, but I'm just like, yeah, crypto is basically bullshit. I'm just betting on bullshit right now. So, like,
Yeah,
but, like, in
it's
NFTs, like, yeah, that's, like, expert mode, like, you know, fucking microtransactional bullshit. Like, you're, like, I don't see how there's any way you can possibly say there's anything legit about an NFT. I just do not see it at all.
Yeah, that's the part I would
Like
need
playing
someone to
cards for
explain
rich
to me.
people, I guess. Like, that is, like,
It's
the best
digital
dummy way to
playing
say it.
cards. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
digital playing cards. And, I mean, how many times the digital market, I don't know why you wouldn't learn from the physical. Like, where are these people now that had, other than specific Pokemon or whatever you can reference, but the atypical, like, Topps playing cards that everyone's dad collected and a lot of our generation, like, still probably had, like, I still have a thing of signed, I don't even know how many. I call it my valuable cards. I haven't looked it up, but I'm not sitting on thousands of dollars. Like, you know, some people thought that is going to be almost like a savings account. And
Yeah, no, what do you call it? Like, there's this woman on Twitter named Mary Kay. She's, like, kind of like a games journalist, but she basically said, like, I have the feeling that this is just the same thing that happened 30 years ago with comic books in the early 90s when everyone thought buying, like, these variants of, like, issue number ones that were printed into millions are going to be worth, like, a retirement fund. And it's like, it's just happening over and over again, but just in a new digital way.
Yeah.
And she's right. It's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, Jim, would you say history repeats itself?
Yeah, history always repeats itself, right? That's why you got to burn the history books so no one can ever learn.
Damn it, Jim! So, if anyone out there, here's the deal. If anyone out there actually owns or purchased an NFT, I would triply love to hear from you. And
if you own an NFT and you're out there listening, I want you as a guest on the podcast.
Yes.
Like, I want to sit down and fucking talk to you about this.
And if you can explain this shit to us and why it's valuable, why you think it's valuable, I'll buy you a beer. An NFT beer, but, you know, it's a beer.
Well, Brian, if you buy him an NFT of a beer, then he's just paying dividends.
There you go. Pickles.
I have nothing to add to that. Awkward ending. New transition.
All right, Chambers. So, bringing back the director games I'd want to see.
Oh, actually, Brian, real quick.
Yes.
Apparently, when he was like 294 out, it took like 10, 15 minutes to get in. So it wasn't like super long.
Oh, okay. So, okay. That's still
So that's
sucks,
not, that's a little more,
but
yeah.
it's not like
It's more
hours.
palatable.
Yeah. Excuse me. Awesome. So as far as directors we want to see games from, this one to me is a kind of a no-brainer. But
Tis the season.
Tis the season, for sure. Good old John Carpenter. You know, I'll just go through some of his biggest movies. You could argue Assault and Precinct 13. Just make it. I would like to see that as a I always forget the name. What is the Super NES rail shooter, gallery shooter, the wild blazing fucking
Oh, what, Wild Guns?
Wild Guns.
Yeah.
I almost want to see a style like that for Assault on Precinct 13.
That'd be interesting. I almost think you could do like almost like a tactical game with Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah, actually that's true. Like a XCOM almost.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Halloween. This is a game.
We've already had a bunch of games. Maybe make a good one.
Well, no. The only official is Atari. That's the crazy part about Halloween. There's been a fan make one. There's been Michael Myers released in Call of Duty, and now Michael Myers is in Dead by Daylight. That's the only things with Michael Myers in them.
Oh wow,
Which
that's
is
wild.
fucking insane. Like, I don't know how they haven't made a legit Halloween game, but do it. I don't know what else to say. Now let me ask you. You've played Friday the 13th. I know you liked it. When you hear about games, and obviously we've done some NES, like you've played Friday the 13th there, you played Nightmare on Elm Street. If the prospect of a Halloween game came out, would you rather be like Laurie or a victim, or like a human trying to fight against him, or do you want to be him?
I mean, it almost seems like you'd have to be like, Laurie or one of the humans, just because like he's like the perfect bad guy for a game, like the almost unkillable fucking final boss kind of deal. So
Yeah. You know what I would love to see it as? If you do the AI and the style from like Alien Isolation, because that was the best
that would be
AI
good.
I've ever seen. And just like in that game, there's really only one xenomorph, but you're put in a bunch of situations where you have to avoid it. So whoever made that, I think it was Fox Interactive or something,
with
do
Sega,
that with
yeah.
Halloween. Yeah, or Sega. Yeah, that's right. So that would be awesome.
That would be a good one.
The Fog, you've seen that, right?
You know what? No, I haven't.
Okay, that's great. Horror movie. That one, there's a couple different ways you could kind of go about it, but I would.
He was a writer for They Live. Shit.
Yeah, well, They Live. That would definitely be one I would say. Is that just? Do you just do a beat 'em up style?
I was just thinking straight beat 'em up. Fuck it.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I want.
Put on the glasses.
But Jim, do you do a whole quick time event for that fist fight, and you have to hit everything perfect, or you have to restart it?
See, I was just thinking in my head, how do you do that fight perfect though? How do you do it justice? Because
You
like,
you gotta do quick time events and make it really long and drawn out. Be like, Jesus Christ, because that's the part of like that thing was what, an 8-minute fight or something. It was something
around that, yeah.
Ridiculous. Big Trouble in Little China. I know I've talked about it many times. There actually was a Big
Commodore.
Trouble in, yeah.
Yep.
But that's another one. You do a beat 'em up, shoot 'em up style something, almost Streets of Rage-ish with guns. Or, you know what? Fuck it. I want to see almost like an open world kind of style to that. I want that game so bad. I miss that. Some of these I think are a little more obscure, but obviously Escape from LA and Escape from New York. Has that not been a game?
I maybe once. Like I think like it's been not done nearly enough that it should be.
Like, it obviously spawned inspiration for Metal Gear Solid, but I'm looking right now. I don't see. There was a cancel game, a Escape from New York, Snake Plissken's First Escape game. So it was a canceled game for the PS2 Xbox, but I don't see like that one. Obviously, I would say like almost like a Metal Gear, but with a little bit more of a basis on shooting shit.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Vampire. You know what? Did you ever see Vampires
No,
with James Woods?
James Woods in a vampire movie?
It's from '98. It was like such. It was a Danny Which Baldwin was it? Danny Baldwin. It's such
Not Billy Baldwin.
No, it's such a schlocky, goofy, and anything in James Woods, you know what to kind of expect.
Yep.
But it's like goofy, actiony vampire movie. It's such a popcorn, turn your brain off. You get actual enjoyment out of it. You really need to see it. It's
I'm up for
James
that.
Woods. Come on. He's like acting like the ultimate badass vampire hunter. What else do you need to hear? There needs to be
All right,
a whole anthology.
you sold me.
You know what? I want to see an anthology. You know what? Here's what's funny. You know how like there's anthology movies? I want to see anthology based on certain actors, like a James Wood anthology games.
Or just broke my brain for a second. Holy shit.
Or do anthology for directors, like we're trying to talk about in these segments, like
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino anthology games or whatever it is. and do all the different styles. Ghost of Mars, another ridiculous movie.
I was like, I vaguely remember hearing about that, but I know nothing about that movie.
Iceberg,
it almost looks like
Natasha Henstridge. Like, that was... I don't even know what the fuck to call that movie. It's a sci-fi movie, kind of hard. There's, like, legit ghost on Mars. I don't even know what else to say about that. But yeah, I mean, Carpenter has some unique movies that I really think he could, you know... Obviously, I didn't bother mentioning The Thing because they have a game that's amazing for it.
right.
Christine would be an interesting one. And have you seen that one?
That's the
car
the killer car, right?
Yeah. Which has one of the coolest, I think, reversed filmed, like when the car is destroyed and it puts itself back together scenes. That was actually a really, really cool scene. But yeah, being a killer, you know what? Do Christine just in crazy taxi style, and instead of picking people up, you're killing them.
That's a great goddamn idea.
That's all you gotta do.
I'll give you that credit, Brian. That's a good idea.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought of John Carpenter, and I was like, that's a no-brainer to me. I want to see more of his movies made.
Yeah, so. I mean, apparently Ghost of Mars was his last one he directed. Like, shit, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, he's an old boy.
Well, he's dead.
Oh.
So, say rest in peace.
Yeah, I guess he's extremely old then.
Damn it, Jim!
What?
Son of a bitch.
Hold on, let me get a beer.
Okay. Oh. He's not dead. I was wrong. Shit. My mistake. I love you, John Carpenter. Jim, I just told the people I made the John Carpenter is not dead. I don't know. There is a horror director. I know George Romero, and I thought there was somebody else, but I was wrong. He's not dead.
Well, I'll be goddamned. Look at me go.
I'm sorry, JC.
Damn it.
That's why I call him, because we're buddies.
Oh. Well, let me put it that way.
All right, Chambers. So, you sticking with the same beer?
No. Found out tonight I'm going just with the Coors Light. Keeping it light. Keeping it simple.
You would, bitch.
What? Now I have 2 more to enjoy next time.
Bitch. Sam Adams, Jacko. I gotta say, even though there's the slightest little chemically taste, that is just pure cinnamon and like pumpkin pie flavor. It's pretty damn good. And the next one, these clever sons of bitches. Good old Conchi Brewing Company's Nightmare on East Elm Street. Love the can design.
Ooh.
With the scrape and the stripes a la Freddy. Such a cool looking can. This is what I mean. It's not a ton of effort. Put some fucking effort into your cans, people. That's all I ask.
Minimalist bullshit.
Yeah, don't even get me started. But this is an old can. So this was canned on 8/26/2020.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
So it's a little over a year.
Age to perfection.
So, Jim, I don't know if it's controversial, but
No.
we have a Which Is Better returning, if you will.
Yep. Brian, would you like this is resurrected too?
Damn it.
That's
Jim,
what you get.
I would call this the Battle of the Vanias.
Well, one of them isn't a Vania. One's annoyed and one's a mania.
Metroidvania.
I know.
So, which is
Thank you,
better?
Brian.
The Castlevania series or the Metroid series?
Fuck.
Obviously, I threw this in here with Metroid Dread being released. And since with Jim and I going through the fucking horde of horror games, Castlevania is on my mind all the time. So I was like, you know what? Those two, and I'll say this, I like those two series combined better than I like most of the first party series from Nintendo. Like Legend of Zelda, Mario. Like, I prefer Castlevania and Metroid games over those.
I mean, Metroid is a first-party series.
But I'm saying I feel like they don't get the attention. I always and I
Fair.
yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, and here's another question I had for you, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Do you consider Metroid, and more specifically Super Metroid, could you almost put that as a horror game?
I would say they are definitely borderline, especially Super Metroid with the soundtrack. Because, like, that is a very moody soundtrack.
So here's
especially
my
some of the
problem.
boss fights too.
Yeah. So I didn't put Metroid in my NES titles because for some
neither.
reason I look at that as very sci-fi-ish, or not even. I don't even know what to put that. Just action. But Super Metroid, from the opening of the game, like you said, the soundtrack, some of the monsters, like I'm almost like struggling with maybe
Super's way
list.
more moody. I was thinking about putting it on my list, but I was like, I still think it's a little too borderline.
Yeah. So
And especially you have the haunted ship too. Like that could have been your excuse right there.
it's very I'm very torn. I haven't finished the list yet, so it's up for debate if I include it. But putting that aside, I was just curious if you considered that a horror game or not.
I think an argument is definitely that.
But overarching, use whatever logic you want. It could be personal preference or quality of the games. Which is better? I mean, obviously there are a significantly larger library in the Castlevania series.
Right.
Actually, I don't know how many Metroid games are there.
First title, there's like 5 official, and then Prime, there's 3 of them, and then there's a couple little offshoots here and there, but there's like your Federation Forces and Prime Pinball, which is excellent, or Other M, shit like that.
Okay, so it's like 1, 2, 3. So there's not many.
You maybe have like 15 Metroid games total. Yeah.
Now, what is your experience with Metroid games?
I have beaten 1 Super and Fusion. I have played a little bit of Prime Trilogy. Dabbled a tiny bit in like all 3 of them, and I really don't like the Prime games. But I've tried.
Any particular
to
reason?
put more time in them. I just didn't like how they played. Like,
Was it the control, or was it the gameplay was kind of boring to you?
I didn't put enough time in. Like, I just didn't like the control off the bat, so I kind of just like noped out quick.
Gotcha. And Castlevanias.
I've never beaten any Castlevania.
Really?
Yeah, no, what do you call it? Like, I could probably easily beat 4, but I just never put the time in to sit down and actually just go through it. But no, I've never beaten this. I mean, unless you count like Bloodstained. I beat Bloodstained. But, yeah, I've never beaten any of them. But I do really like them. Because, like, I've played a lot of 1, I've played a lot of 3, I've played a lot of Super, I've played a lot of Rondo, I've played a lot of Bloodlines.
You've never beaten Bloodlines. Like, haven't you had that as since a kid?
No, I only got that like 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, I played a lot of Symphony until, like, every Metroidvania I got lost and quit. And, I really didn't play any of the, I want to wait for either a limited run release or just a sale on the, Advanced Collection, because I never played any of the Game Boy Advance games. So I really want to try and play those. I never played any of the DS ones, so I have Judgment on the Wii, but I haven't touched it. That's the one-on-one fighting game.
Yeah.
But,
which is a game I really want to play. It's fun.
That's one we do have to go through. Yeah.
It's fun. So
I mean, I've spent a lot of time with both series.
So I have played and beaten every Castlevania up until you hit those DS and handheld games.
Right.
I don't have any of those, so I
never played like the Lords of Shadow on 360 or anything like that.
So that game, I was already a Castlevania nerd, diehard, and then the Lords of Shadow really reignited myself. And like, oh my god, I fucking love that game. Is so underrated in that series. So obviously my Castlevania nerdism is really high. But I mean, what do you think? So, like I said, take into account whatever you want. You can take in graphics, sound. So maybe that would be a good way to kind of go for it. So if you do graphics, but it's tough because then it's like, which are you comparing? Because you could only say Metroid versus 1 through 3 of Castlevania.
Right. I mean, like, yeah, they go through so many different consoles and generations and they intersect and shit like that. Like, it's really tough.
All right. So I'll try to sum up.
Like I'll say, like, Castlevania 3 looks better than, like, Metroid 1 or Metroid 2 on the Game Boy, obviously. But, like, then again, you have all the Castlevania games on the Game Boy, too. Shit.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So it would be impossible to try to go thing by thing. I'll say shocker, but this actually is much tougher for me because Metroid on the Game Boy, the whatever it is, 2.
Samus Return of Samus, and then Samus Returns.
That was like that is my favorite Game Boy game. But here's the deal: like the Metroid games, and I don't have much experience. I'm like you. I had a buddy who had Prime, played a little bit, and I was like, I just don't feel like This doesn't feel like a Metroid game to me.
Right.
The only problem is Metroid games feel the same outside of Prime. They're like the same. Like, tons of exploration, whatever. They didn't expand. With Castlevania, even though I'm actually one of those people, I'm not a huge fan of the Metroidvania style. Once Symphony of the Night hit, that introduced a new thing to the style of Castlevania. And then I've never actually played the N64 either game, so I can't speak on that. But then Lord of Shadows with the 3D style, so there's a few different styles to choose from. But what I love is it really encompassed the horror theme, and it kind of stuck to its guns, but it does manage to make things feel new. Whereas no matter what Metroid game I played, I didn't feel like anything was that new of a gameplay mechanic. And I might have a different opinion if I dive deep into Prime and I end up loving that. Yeah. But I like the different feels for Castlevanias. And I think overall the production in Castlevania games is always the music never is I've never played a Castlevania game where the music was it's only okay. Yeah. Always oh shit, they went all out for this. And every generation, I feel like we got such a great Castlevania game. I can't say the same for Metroid. Now, Super
Metroid didn't get as much love, though. That's not Metroid's fault.
No, I know. And like I said, that's where I think you could argue Metroid is a more underrated series because it didn't get the love and it didn't get the appreciation. Yeah. But I think overall, Castlevania is just a better series because they are developed by a better company. But
I don't know if you can say that nowadays, but
I don't know. What about Dread, Jim?
Made by Nintendo, still a top-notch company.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Great customer service with their online.
Yeah, Jim. It's really good when you emulate it. No, I don't know. See, me, and I'm torn because I'm the horror guy, but especially when I look at newer games, and I still think Lords of Shadows are an amazing game. Metroid hasn't made that jump yet to getting out of 2D or whatever. I think if it can come out with a game that breaks its mold and does something else, then it could compete better. But that's just my opinion. What about you?
Fucking bugs. Well, at least we don't have a cricket this time.
Damn it.
You know what?
It's kind of fucking jinx it,
Jim. But it's kind of funny because I've beaten more Metroid games. And I actually think the Metroid games of it's actually funny, it's just called Metroidvania genre, all because of Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
But I still think Metroid does the best job with that genre because I've played a lot of games like it, and I always get hopelessly lost, and then I try to find a walkthrough, and even with a walkthrough, I'm I still can't find the one fucking part I need. But Metroid is still streamlined enough, even with Super, which is probably still the most open-ended one. And with it, I haven't played Dread yet, but even Super, it's oh, this is what I had to do. It was one fucking stupid spot.
Yeah.
So I still think as of that exploration-y kind of genre of game, once you get past the early ones with no maps, I still think they probably still do it the best for the most part. But I don't know. I still just going back to Castlevania more though, because it's probably almost unfair because with Castlevania you also can scratch the Metroid itch, where it's with Metroid you have the Metroid itch or you have the Prime itch, and if you don't like Prime, then you're just out of luck there. Then you'll have to 6 games. So, well, I guess 7. 1, 2, Super, Fusion.
There's Metroid,
Zero Mission, Samus Returns.
Samus Returns, Super Metroid, Fusion, Other M, Dread, and then Metroid Prime 2.
Well, Other M is just more just an action game too. It's a third-person action game for the most part. It's not even as exploration-y.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm looking at the games and I'm just going, okay, once again, it's a much smaller library, which is why I'm trying not to say volume of games.
Does have a really good pinball game though. Does have a good pinball offshoot.
You're goddamn pinball. Oh, Jim, speaking of pinball, not to take us off topic, I think you're gonna like one of the games I'm gonna make you play for the Alien month. It's an Alien pinball game for the PS3 and PS4.
Really? Ooh.
And
Okay.
it looks pretty goddamn awesome. But
All right, I'm down for that.
we'll get into that. But yeah,
Yay!
so well, here's the
No,
deal.
but if I had to pick one, like you know what? Here's what it is. What's the series I go back to the most? It's Castlevania. Now it's probably not fair because there's so many of them and there's the different styles both styles I really like, but it's Castlevania. That's what I go back to.
So when you go back to Castlevania games, what is your go back to game?
it's either for the most part it's either Rondo or Bloodlines for the most part, or Symphony, I guess, because I haven't played many of them after
Really?
that.
It's Rondo or Bloodline? Not you don't go 1, 2, or 3 or 4?
You know what it is? Like, I have a weird relationship with the NES. Like, it's one that I almost never go to. Like, the NES is never the system that I go, like, you know what? I feel like playing NES. Like, I almost never say that.
Really?
Maybe, like, once a year for, like, maybe 2 weeks. So, maybe I'm just, like, a 16-bit snob that way. But, like,
And
yeah, so...
I would think you'd go to 4 then at that point.
4 is probably the one I should, just so I can, like, beat one. But, you know what it is? I don't like the sound in 4. Like,
Really?
I know the songs are well composed. I just hate the instrumentation in 4.
Because it's too good? Compared to
No,
shit,
not because it's too good.
You're just used to the jarringness of Sega sound.
No, the second soundtrack's good, except for when you fucking beat a level with that organ sound. That's fucking terrible. But, I don't know. It's just something about, like, the weird, like, it's too, like, tinny almost, which you never associate with the Super NES, but, like, like, bleh. Like, I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. And then, like, once you get to the later levels, I'd probably be pissed off with all the slowdown and shit. But I'm sure I would like it if I put more time into it. But, like, I don't know. Something about Bloodlines and Rondo just, like, grab me more.
I think it's forced, but
It's not forced.
it's a little forced. Especially
Not
Rondo.
forced. It's just the ones-
Especially Rondo. Bloodlines I get more. You're a Sega guy. But Rondo, I feel like it's a little forced.
It's not forced. I really enjoy Rondo.
It's forced. No, but yeah, Castlevania, and I always go back to when you say like what's amazing, not saying we just mentioned how Metroid has a soundtrack that can be so eerie and whatever, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, there's no doubt the soundtrack, pick a game, Castlevania is so much more memorable.
Even, like, a bad Castlevania, you still... like, Castlevania Adventure, like the first Game Boy game. The game itself pretty much sucks, but the soundtrack's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, so I knew it would be tough. I don't like putting down.
It's not a slam dunk, but, like, I still gotta go with Mania, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
If I liked Prime more, this would probably be way harder.
Yeah. You don't have Prime, do you?
I have Prime Trilogy. It's all 3.
Oh, okay. We might have to play that because I want to dump some more time into Metroids. I want us to give it a fair view, maybe.
And you know what? Like, I think Fusion's probably my favorite Metroid of all the ones I've played and beaten. But, like, I couldn't tell you one fucking song from the soundtrack, so that's a little disappointing there.
Oh, that doesn't shock me, Jim.
What?
So yeah, in the comments below, let us know which do you prefer, Castlevania or Metroid. Tell us why, and whatever your reasons, they're your reasons. So we're Castlevania boys here.
Yep.
All right, Chambers, our final topic, and I came across this, and I was going to do individual, stretch it out, but I want us to go through it. We have overrated, underrated, and we have from Goliath.com, the 15 most underrated video games of all time. What a bold goddamn statement.
Okay, before we get into this list, because I haven't looked at it yet, if Titanfall 2 isn't on here, it's a garbage list.
Jim, I have looked through the list. You may be disappointed.
Garbage list. Garbage fucking list, then, if that's not on
So
here.
I honestly, I looked through the list. I want to say titles, and I want to get your take first before I give mine, because I have seen it. So don't open the list. I'll read them off to you.
All right. Well, I saw the first one, so I won't look at it anymore.
So number 15, they have Mega Man 7, and for those who don't know, that's the first one on the Super NES, sandwiched to me in between. It's a sandwich middle child game. But what do you think about that, Jim?
Never touched it.
Okay. I've played it. It is actually a really good game, but once again, you have the NES games, which I've always said Mega Man 2 is my favorite, but you can make an argument for any of them on the NES. And then
Right.
Mega Man X is such a great game for Super NES that this tends to be the forgotten one. It's like I said, there's just too many Mega Mans, and there's going to be a whole. You could probably insert a lot of Mega Man games into this. So I think this is an appropriate one because this should, to me, should represent any Mega Man game that's within a series of friggin' 10. And it really was a fun game.
All right.
Number 14, Star Wars Battlefront. The
original Battlefront?
No, 2015. The one that got
know
shit
what?
on. But, yeah.
I didn't touch it, but you know what? I did hear from everyone who actually like sat down and played it that it is a really good time. It's just not the game people wanted when they heard Battlefront.
Dude, and here's the deal. I was one of those people. I mean, graphic and sound is fucking stellar. But
Right.
a open world kind of Battlefield-esque Star Wars game that like it controlled pretty goddamn well. I was excited. I know obviously the community of Battlefront people expected a certain type of game and they got something else.
Right.
But it is really good. And it's is it most underrated of all time? Very, very debatable, but you could say that.
I mean,
about
it
any of
sold
these.
a lot.
Yeah.
It's not like it didn't get sales. So
Yeah. Next one is NHL Hits 20 or Jesus Christ Almighty. NHL Hits 2002.
You know what? I used to see hits at a couple thrift stores, and I never picked it up because I was like, fucking. Even though it's a GameCube game, like, sports game, fuck it. But I was looking back now, I'm like, damn it, I should have gotten it because it was only a couple bucks. But like, anything in like that genre of like hits, the bigs, blitz, like they were all fun games. So I'm
fun.
sure I would enjoy it.
Did you play Blitz and all those?
I played blitz and I played the bigs. I never played hits.
Okay. So it is stupid fun. And this is a game I'm happy was on here because I feel like Blitz got all the attention from, I can't even remember the fucking developer. Hold on.
Well, it was Midway.
Midway published, developed by Black Box. So,
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, Midway. When you think Midway, when you think sports, yeah, you're going to go NBA Jam, Blitz, whatever. Hits was just overshadowed for whatever reason, but it is a ton of fun. I would actually love for that to be a game me and you play, even if it's like just a drunken long, like it's just really, really fun. And a lot of hockey snobs may hate us, but like I would almost put this as one of the best hockey games ever because it hits that fun, like the action is tight enough, but it has that arcade feel and it's goofy and the hitting, like I don't know. It's more of a casual thing versus a simulation.
I'm sure I'd like it. And you know what? Like, is there a hockey snob video for? I'm sure there is for video games.
As
but
we've learned with sports, I feel like there's a snob for everyone because God forbid
Yeah,
you
there
don't
is.
talk baseball stars when you're talking about fun of a game versus.
God for fucking big.
So I've learned my lesson as like, oh no, I'm sure somebody out there's gonna be like, that's not simulation-y enough, and
Yeah.
yeah. So number 12, Luigi's Mansion. Is that
I can see it.
But is that underrated? Like I feel like people universally love the dick out of that game.
People do love it, but it was also the game that like another one that like people didn't want when it came out. Like,
And now it's
when it
well, it's not actually. I did just get it, see it complete in box for like $40, so I didn't get.
yeah, it's still not super expensive for what it is.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, I thought it was universally loved, but maybe it's just that people who love it are just the few that played it.
Yeah, I think I got mine like a year and a half ago, and like it was like $30-$40. Like it's never been like a super crazy expensive game.
Yeah. Now, next title. I'm trying to see. I don't see the date of when this article was written, but the next one is Psychonauts, which with Psychonauts 2 coming out.
That was always a cold hit.
Yeah, like I felt like
I can see the underrated argument because like it bombed, but like and it had a lot of hype behind it and it bombed. So, but I think that's when people came back to like later on and like wound up being like, oh, this is really good.
I'll be honest, I never played it. Have you?
Me neither.
So
nah, I never did.
This is one where I kind of go like, I want to try it now. Unfortunately, though, I think because I know it has that hype behind it, am I gonna be disappointed, or will it live up and like be a pleasant surprise?
I don't know. It might have the disadvantage too, because like it was still like an early 6th gen game, so a lot of the control with those 3D platformers isn't as great as these days. But I don't know. We'll see.
Jim, if I could get enjoyment out of Tiny Tank, I feel like Psychonauts should be okay.
This is true.
10, NBA Street. So
Man, NBA Street died, but that was like the thing for a while.
it was, yeah. And it's in the same line as NHL Hits and all that. Yeah, I think you could put that in the categories like the Def Jam and all those, like, man, what happened? Well, I guess nowadays you do got, what is it, 2K? What's that 2K basketball game that is like street ball, but it's like the oversized heads?
Oh, fucking, I know what you're talking about.
Because like the wrestling game, there's that. The 2K.
They had Battlegrounds. Yeah.
So I feel like there are. I was gonna say where are they, but I guess that is the version.
It's not what it was though. It's not what it was.
No. Yeah, I think. I don't think it should have been this much higher on the list than Hits, but yeah. Number 9.
I'll say Hits is more underrated because like NBA Street was a hit for a while.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 9, Outlast. So, you've never played that, right?
No.
Okay. Here's what I'll say. Playing Outlast.
I thought that was like the big streaming game for like PewDiePie and shit like that.
You know what it
back
was?
in the
That's
day.
why I said, like, the only reason it probably got the success it did was because of him, because he streamed it, like, you know, and that was one of his big videos of, like, his horror run.
Right.
But here's the deal. That game, it usually does end up on list of, like, best horror games, because I will say, as someone who has played that in the second one, I do get a certain uneasy feeling. It's kind of like when you watch, like, a movie like Requiem for a Dream or The Kids, where you don't feel good afterwards. You go, oh, that was something. And it's, like, not one I want to go back and play, but, like, is that...
Outlast 3, ass to ass.
I mean, kind of. It's like, is that the mark of a really good game where it gives you such an uneasy feeling where you're like, you know what? I played it. I'm good. I'm glad I survived. I don't want to feel that again. And so, I don't know if it gets enough appreciation for those reasons.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Number 8. I don't know what this is. Evil Genius from 2004.
What the fuck?
It's a strategy game.
All right, I gotta look this up. Evil Genius.
Yeah, 2004.
I know absolutely nothing about this.
From what it's written up, it
Don't
features...
recognize it. Don't recognize a goddamn thing.
Considered one of the best strategy games of all time. It has a unique sense of humor, wildly different outlook on the god game genre popularized by Civilization SimCity. It's inspired by spy thriller genre and set in the 60s, 70s. Basically, you play a villainous force trying to control and dominate the world. So it's a very humorous game, apparently. I've never heard of it, played it, but you know what? Honestly, seeing how this list has turned out so far, I actually want to try this game, because some of these I agree with. Next one, The Saboteur, which this one actually makes sense. So, do you know anything about this?
No, I've heard of it. I never played it, though.
Yeah, so basically you're a Nazi fighter in France, and you're, like, going around. It's kind of influenced, like, by GTA and Red Dead. Everyone I've ever heard of, and every time I look at a review, they talk about how this is such a hidden gem. It is so much more fun than it gets credit for. Another one I actually really want to play. I just haven't yet, so...
Maybe just got, like, lost in the shovel of, like, other GTA clones.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Next is BioShock 2, which...
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, because...
I haven't played it, but, like, I heard the biggest problem is... Like, here's what I always heard about BioShock 2. It plays better than 1, but the story is way worse, and it was kind of unnecessary.
Yeah. And, yeah, it just undersold from what they were expecting because of what BioShock did. Like, BioShock...
Yeah, no, it was definitely a disappointment sales-wise.
Yeah. So, I could kind of see that. It's another... Yeah, like, it's a tighter, better game, but for whatever reason, it just didn't take off. Kind of like the next one, you could argue. Super Mario Brothers 2.
Are they talking the one we got in the U.S. or Doki Doki Panic?
Just says Super Mario Brothers 2. No nerds.
I'm sure it's a U.S. one.
Yeah.
So
I could see this because it is easily lost in a shuffle. Like, you have 3 is without a doubt usually always put as the best NES game ever. 1 is so classic, 2 is just there. But it
Well,
is
you know
a
what it
really
is,
fun
like,
game.
2 is also kind of a victim of revisionist history because everyone looks back and they just go, actually, it's just a reskin Doki Doki Pan. When, like, in this side of the world, like, no one knew and cared. Like, they were just like, oh, cool, another Mario. So, and they still liked it back then.
And even back then, you did like it, but the problem is once 3 came out, you completely forgot about it. And in our minds, whenever someone hears Super Mario Brothers, you think do 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 do, and you think of 1.
Right.
Like no one thinks of 2 out of their way. So I could kind of see why it would be underrated for that. Like you're sandwiched between the most legendary game of all time and the best game on the NES. So, next one I actually agree with very much. Spider-Man 2. Released in 2004. But
I don't think that's underrated, though.
Well, here's my deal.
At all.
Anyone who plays it ends up loving the dick out of it. But it's another one where...
Like, it was a hit when it came out. It was the greatest hit on, like, every console. And it was still called, like, the best superhero game ever until, like, Arkham and, like, the newer Spider-Man game.
That's the only part
I don't see how that's underrated at all.
Yeah, that's the only part I have a problem with. Like, it is pretty appreciated, so...
Well, maybe no one talks about it as much today, but, like, yeah, it's a 20-year-old game, but, like, still. What?
Well, what's funny is I'm looking up now, like, all the different reviews for it, and there are some that are actually kind of rough on it. I don't know. Either way... I didn't think this was underrated.
Maybe.
This is one it is just a good ass game.
Yeah.
But it's one that I could also see now with all the Spider-Mans I've passed it. It'll easily get forgotten. And it can still be fun today.
Well, yeah, maybe at this point. But yeah. All right,
fine. Next one, The World Is Not Enough, the 007 game.
Yeah, wait, is that what? The World Is Not Enough? Like, I always heard, like, for everyone who like loved GoldenEye, like I heard like Nightfire was like
which
the
is
next
the
best
one we
after
played
that.
all the remember when I
yeah, we played that a lot.
That game I'll say controversially I liked it better than GoldenEye. Better
it probably holds up
much
better than
better
GoldenEye.
Weapons. Remember that fucking when we'd be across the maps from each other and shoot the homing rockets and like try to get each other?
Oh yeah, that was a shit show.
Yeah, this one I never played, but yeah, it was the N64 follow up to GoldenEye.
Huh.
So yeah, I never even knew about it.
I mean, I've heard of it, but maybe it's just one they like. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, it basically says it's the same. It's
I will have all the news. Or is that Tomorrow Never Dies? Or
wait, hold on. The world's not is it got decent reviews, praise, but the reason is largely only because
wait, I can just look this up. I have a computer in front of me. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's the one with Denise Richards.
Oh God, that one. Fuck. That one's even less memorable as a movie.
Yeah. Oh, this next one, Jim. I don't know what the fuck it is. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger.
Oh, I've heard of that one. I never played it, but I've heard of it.
What is it? It's a it's a
like,
PS2. Well, it came out.
Yeah, it's like a mascot platformer, I think.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but basically they said if you never heard of it, it's a testament to how underrated and underappreciated it is. It's a titular title in Australian, so it's platforming puzzles, very much like Spyro and Crash, but it says it's much better. Okay.
Yeah, that probably just got lost in the shuffle of like all the mascot platformers from the early PS2 days, but yeah. I mean, I've heard of it. I heard it was good.
This next one, I don't know what the fuck to make of this. Mirror's Edge. I feel like that got jacked off so much by the media.
You know what it is? Like, Mirror's Edge got, like, it had a lot of hype, and then it came out and everyone went, it's alright. So, like, I don't even know if it's really that overrated. Like, I still, like, have that, like, song from, like, its commercial stuck in my head. Or, yeah, that underrated.
Yeah.
I saw that song from its commercial stuck in my head, but, like, outside of that, like, I always heard the game was just, like, it's okay. And then, like, the second one came out and everyone went,
It's probably one of the best first-person 3D platformers.
It was, like, the first one, really.
That's what I mean. But, like, it does control really well. I remember I played it and I remember going kind of that same feel. Like, oh, this is... Okay, this is fine. But I wasn't like, oh, man, this is unbelievably amazing.
Right.
So... listing that as the most underrated game of all time.
That was their number one?
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
That's why I said I don't know about that one.
Oh, Jesus.
I can't agree with
I mean,
that. But
it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Fine. Like, he just put a bunch of games that, like, he probably loves that he feels doesn't get enough love these days.
Sure.
Fine.
Which some of those games, like I said, I agree very like Blitz, or I'm sorry, Hits, NBA Street.
Yeah,
like,
no,
there's a lot
I'm
of
happy
games
seeing
on
some
this
sports
list
games
that
on
I
there.
go, and some of the games on the list I already mentioned, I'm gonna go out of my way and try and play because I'm like, I kind of get where he's coming from. Jim, we know.
But yeah, it's kind of like crazy, like the ones that are like the go-tos for these lists, like Titanfall 2 or Enslaved Journey to the West, like those aren't on here, shit like that.
Yeah, Titanfall 2 is definitely, unfortunately, lost to the ether at this point.
Yep.
I'd be curious to see what that server situation looks like right now, if people are still playing it. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm always, as Jim said, it's subjective because how do you determine an underrated game? To me, I almost feel like you have to have really undersold by a certain amount. You like, there's got to be a lot of criteria.
If you're a greatest hits million seller, I can't put you as underrated.
Yeah, but it's a tough question. I mean, other than Titanfall 2, are there any other games that come to your head that you go, man, not enough people talk about blah?
I mean, I already said that Enslaved game, but I mean, if you go through like the annals of history, like I always throw General Chaos in there. Like, I think that was a game from like the 6th gen. It's just like, it's mostly forgotten, but it was like such a cool idea and concept and mostly done well. Let's see, what the fuck? There's probably like 1,000 I could pull out of my ass, but I'm just like not right now.
Yeah, I always go back to Punisher on a PS2.
Yeah, no, I'll put Punisher in there. Like, I think Hulk Ultimate Destruction's still pretty loved for the genre it's in, but it still always kind of felt a little underrated. Like, no one talks about like Star Wars Rogue Squadron anymore. Like, I think that's fucking, you could almost say, underrated in this day and age for how big a deal it was in its day.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, that, like I said, that's the tough part is what is, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I know people like to say like Twisted Metal 4, but like I don't like the 989 Twisted Metals, but like, if you want to put that in there, whatever. Shit like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, it was an interesting list. I like seeing lists like this because I like talking about it, and it is a person's personal opinion. So at the end of the day, you give some slack, but I want to hear from you guys. What do you think are some truly underrated games? Maybe whatever you post, we'll actually be able to talk about, and we'll do a segment of like if you mention a game, we'll give our thoughts on if a game's underrated or overrated.
Listener follow-up, new section.
So Jim, after 2 of those delicious beers, is that a definitely, you think that's a 4-pack you're going to pick up again, or after this 4-pack you're kind of good with it?
No, you know what? I actually really, really enjoyed this. Like, I'm shocked by how much I liked it. And like, for only being 5.8%, like, I got a good buzz going right now after like 2 pints of this and a Coors Light. I'm like, wow, this is sitting way heavier than I was expecting. But not like heavy in a bad way, but yeah, no, this was really fucking tasty.
Nice. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised with this. The Sam Adams Jacko, it tasted better than I remembered. And I said it's always a gold standard. And the Nightmare on East Elm Street I'm still working through, but it's for a year-plus old can, it's still holding up pretty damn well. So
there you go.
I'm a sucker for pumpkin beers too, so I can't say anything.
Nah.
But with that, we want to say thank you to everyone who has stuck with us. If you are a patron, please make sure you get in your answers or your questions to us for the next podcast. If you are watching this video on YouTube, please do us a favor. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave some comments for us. If you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, please be sure to hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a ton. And if you can, leave us a review. We prefer 5 stars, and we will always answer whatever you write to us. With that, we want to say have a good night, everyone, and cheers.
Cheers, guys.